Welcome to the Women's Hoop Show. I am back from hot and humid Tampa, where the Final Four and National Championship took place. And on today's episode, I am joined once again by the legendary Sheryl Swoopes. We're breaking down UConn's championship win, what it means, how they made it happen, and what stood out most. Plus, we'll take a look ahead of the upcoming WNBA Draft, see what picks look like there, what fans should be watching out for. A lot to get into. Let's dive in. All right, Sheryl.
What's up, Jordan?
We made it back. What's up? First of all, it was so great to see you and hug you while we were at the Final Four. Did you have fun?
I did, but to hug you for all of 30 seconds, pretty much. And then, that's the only time we saw each other. I saw you from a distance. So I kept up with you through all of your social media at the Final Four. I was like, oh, no wonder I can't see her. No wonder I can't have a drink. No wonder we can't get together because she's busy.
Okay, time out. I know I was running around, but Miss Appearance over here, you were at this brand booth, and I'm like, okay, Sheryl, I was just over here clapping. Get your coins, girl.
Get your bag,
I was cheering for you.
Get your bag. It was a fun.
But yes, we did not get.
It was a fun time.
Another chance to see each other.
And that was the first time that I've ever been to Tampa. I've never been.
Me
to Tampa,
too.
And I actually liked it a lot.
Me too. Okay, the weather was something different. I was not
Yeah, it
prepared.
was hot.
Not prepared for that humidity, but it was cute. I thought Tampa was really
It was a
cute. It had
vibe.
some little walkable areas.
It was a vibe. Tampa is a vibe for real.
I liked
I'm
it.
like, dang, I
liked it.
packed.
No diss to Cleveland, but dang,
Very
that was way
different,
better.
very different.
last year.
I'm like, I packed all these clothes when what I should have done was just not pack a thing because it was so hot. It was so hot.
Exactly.
It was miserable. But it
Exactly.
was a good time.
I felt like you. I had my fan on me at all times. Okay, but why we were there was for the basketball and the Final Four teams that I kind of want us to go through an overview and then talk about those Final Four games before we get to the championship game. But UConn are the 2025 national champions, and what a statement they made on Sunday. 82-59. They beat South Carolina for their 12th national championship in program history. We also talked about Tampa and the vibe and the people, the fans. It was the fourth consecutive Final Four with a sellout. 19,700 fans were in attendance there. And it felt like it. I don't know about you, but it was not only the fans, UConn fans traveled. South Carolina fans are going to be there. But Texas, UCLA, and then just people who love basketball. It was a great turnout.
I think not only in the arena, right? Just if you were out walking around, going to restaurants, whatever you did, you could feel the excitement, you could hear it. People were so excited about having the Final Four there. But inside the arena for both the semis and the finals, the crowd was incredibly loud. It was just a good time. It was a great time. And to your point, to me at least, I always want teams to make it to the Final Four that have a really good fan base, that they're going to show up, they're going to be loud, they're going to be rowdy, all the things. And I think the four teams that we had there this year, their fans travel well. Texas had a nice crowd there for the semis. UCLA did. And then you get to the finals with South Carolina and UConn. Both of those teams, their fans are going to travel. I don't care where they're going. If they got to walk to get there, they're showing up.
They are showing up. And it felt even too. I was sitting in section 1:15, and people in front of me, the whole row was Connecticut. Behind me, they were all South Carolina. And when, the announcer was asking who to cheer for who, it felt split 50-50. So that was just really exciting to be a part of, and it always is every year. But the basketball, Sheryl, on the court was a little more lopsided than I think I could have ever imagined. I was so excited going into this Final Four because I felt like anybody could win. If anybody showed up, anybody could win.
Yeah.
But there were some teams that did not
show
up. And we talked about the lopsided score in the championship game, but let's quickly review these semis first, okay? South Carolina versus Texas. That was the fourth time that they were going to play each other. South Carolina defeated Texas 74-57. But let me say this. It didn't seem like it was going to be that type of game when it started, right? Madison Booker was on a heater. She was hitting from mid-range. And then what happened, Sheryl?
Halftime.
It did not keep that way.
Halftime.
They did not want halftime to happen.
No, but to your point, Jordan, I think you and I talked about this briefly, but I know I talked about this with just some other people in talking about the game. I thought the South Carolina-Texas game was going to be more of a more physical game. It was going to be a long, drawn-out game. And listen, like, it just wasn't. I'm trying to find the right word because
I see you searching for it. It was a bummer. It was a bummer.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was you had two teams who are really good defensive teams, and that was it. Like, there was no flashy plays. I don't know. To me, it just wasn't an exciting game. But to your point, when the game started out and Texas, because to me, Texas is known for their defense, right? Not so much their offense, except for Madison Booker. And sometimes Madison Booker, when she's on, she is going to give you problems. And when she's off, you look at that team and you're like, okay, where is the scoring going to come from? And so when that game started, it was, Madison Booker was knocking down shots. Roy Harmon was knocking down shots. Taylor Jones was knocking down shots. Like, their offense was looking really good. So I was like, oh, okay. So South Carolina, you're going to have to do something different defensively to slow them down. And then I know we laughed, but seriously, and then halftime happened. They came back out in the third quarter. And I said, yeah, I was wondering when the old Texas was going to show up.
Oh, dang it. South Carolina outscored them 20-9 in that third quarter to take control and really blow the game wide open. But I think it starts more in that first quarter because we talked about Madison Booker. She is the person that makes this Texas team go. She picks up an early foul. Mm-hmm. We were like, okay, watch that. Then she picks up a second foul. And we're like, all right, Coach Vic Schaefer, what you gonna do? Like, she's hot right now. Do you pull her? Then she picks up a third foul on a silly play, trying to go for the steal. And you see her drop to her knees. And at that point, Sheryl, we lost her. Like, she was no longer in the game. 3 fouls in a quarter never happened in her career. She had to sit the whole, or I think, it was a whole half because she had to sit the whole second quarter mostly. But she was playing tentative. She didn't want to draw an offensive foul. She didn't want to play too aggressive on defense, which is their identity. So then the rest of the team kind of followed that lead and it fell flat. And South Carolina took advantage, which I was happy that they did.
Jordan, to your point, right? Like, as a coach, you have to know your players, right? And Madison Booker, because of the type of player she is, not so much defensively, but even offensively, like she's an aggressive player that she's going to take it at you, right? She has a nice little pull-up J in the paint, but she also looks to get to the hole. So as a coach, though, I'm sitting here saying she has 2 fouls. You do not want her to pick up her 3rd foul in the first half. And the game and
It was a
I like,
nightmare.
they were winning or the game was close, so you're okay, right? So I personally would have taken her out. I get it. I know Coach Schaefer's probably like, "We're trying to win this game. I need my best player in the game."
Mhm.
But at the same time, you still got a whole nother half to go, and you were still very much in the game when she picked up that 3rd foul. Because and the reason why I say as a coach, you have to know your players, because like Madison is to me is still very young, right? In certain situations.
She is.
And she
Mhm.
should have known not to go for that steal. But listen, in the heat of the moment and you're just playing the game, it happens. So as a coach, you have to do your part to try not to put her in that position, right? So she doesn't pick up that 3rd
Yeah.
foul. Would would it have made a
It
difference in the game? I don't know.
it's
Yeah.
hard to say. Like I was hoping, and when we're going into this game, we're thinking of Madison Booker at her best, not in foul trouble, versus South
Yeah.
Carolina. And I don't feel like we got a chance to see that, which makes me kind of
Agreed.
sad. But you mentioned that maturity thing, not even going for the steal to pick up that 3rd foul, it was the bounce back. I think that was the showing how young she
Mhm.
was when she just kind of was completely out of the game after that. A more veteran player maybe could have, okay, how am I still going to be
Yeah.
involved? How am I still going to bring the energy? And it was just like she was a
Yep.
non-factor after that. She finished with 11 points. Texas freshman Jordan Lee, team high 16 points. She really balled out. But for South Carolina, it was the Joyce Edwards game, had 13 points, really showed how she could score. And Pow Pow finished with 14 points. That got them into the championship game. And then the second semifinal game, we were waiting to see who they were going to play. And everybody was like,
Mhm.
okay, number 1 UCLA against UConn. Let's go. Maybe that first game was a blowout, but this next game, this is going to be good. And then it was an even bigger
Mm-mm.
blowout.
Mm-mm.
UConn won 85-51, the largest margin of victory in Final Four
Ugh,
history.
ugh.
Sheryl, I have been thinking about what you said about UCLA often, about them just not having a
Mhm.
dog. And that showed up. So it was so blatant and
Mhm.
clear
Mhm.
in the Final Four. What happened? How would you describe what happened to UCLA?
UConn? Like, it's simple. So sometimes, though, the moment is too big for you, and
That part.
that's what I saw from UCLA, like, yeah, it was almost like, yes, they wanna win, but it was almost like they were just content to be there. Like, we
Mm,
made it, and we're happy to be here. But Jordan, I can't lie to you. I I turned the game off, like, or I left after the 2nd quarter. I just was like,
it was
the
bad.
energy from UCLA, like, they weren't playing like they were in the Final Four trying to win a championship. And I was just like, "Who is this team?" Just and
Mhm.
was disappointed for sure, but just very shocked. Like, I was really shocked that it wasn't a better game. I Yes,
I
UConn is really
completely agree
good.
with you.
UConn's really, 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 really good. But more than that, UConn was playing the best basketball at the right time. Like, they just peaked at the right time, right? And I know we'll get into that, but
Yeah.
sometimes the other team is just that good, playing that well, that I don't care what you do, it ain't gonna matter. And I felt that way. I felt that way more in the South Carolina game, but I bring that up because for UCLA, I just was like, w like, that's how I was like, "What? What are we doing?"
I was so surprised when you said shocked. I think that's a great way to put it because the lights looked too bright.
Mhm. Mhm.
UCLA seemed like, oh my God, we have never
Yeah.
been here
Yeah.
before as a
Yep.
program. This is the first time in NCAA Final Four history. We can't lose. We've had this great season. Like you felt that energy being in the gym. I wonder if,
Mm.
and listeners, tell me if I'm wrong, if you could feel that through the TV. But being and watching them in the gym, it was like, ugh, you're not prepared
Yeah.
for this
Like
almost.
the
And this,
moment was too big.
and it comes down to coaching too. We talk about
Yeah.
coaching a lot. The scheme that Gino had was so good. People have played behind Lauren Betts, and then they brought double teams, and Lauren was able to kick it out and get assists up. And we talk about that over and over. People have tried to front her, and then they're able to lob it over. But Gino did a quarter
Mhm.
front with the freshman Jana Alfi, and she was getting deflections, getting Lauren Betts
Frustrated. Mhm.
frustrated.
Like, just took
The
her out of the
UConn
game.
guards
Mhm.
took her
Mhm.
out. And then the UCLA guards were like, "Oh my God, we can't pass it inside to her.
Mhm.
What are we supposed to do now?" And then they fell apart.
That's ex that
That was a great
that's a
scheme.
great explanation of
Mm,
what happened to UCLA.
yeah. But then on the other
Yeah.
side, I don't feel like Corey Close schemed enough for AZ or Sarah Strong. I think they did a great job of Paige, but they have more weapons than just
Yes.
Paige. And they tried to, front and box and one Paige, but AZ was like, okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I'll score 19 in the first half, 7 for 11 from the floor. UConn forced 14 turnovers in that first half, almost 20 for the game. So they were frazzled. And that was something where we talked about for Texas, South Carolina, like, it was a solid first half. It felt like kind of from the jump a little bit that UConn was like, yeah, we just got to roll through you so we can get to the championship game. That's what we're really focused on.
That's exactly what they were focused on. And you know what? UConn came out like, "We've been here before. You guys haven't. Let us show you how it's done. And we're not even going to give you any hope
Mm,
to think that you can possibly win this game." So,
no
to your
hope.
point, Corey Close, her staff, they came in with a game plan, right? This is what they worked on, they practice on. Our game plan is we're going to box in one page, we're going to double page, how whatever it was. But when that's not working because you have other players that are hurting you, you have to make adjustments. Like, we expect players to adjust to how the refs are calling the games and things like that. Well, in the middle of a game, I don't care what your game plan or your scheme is coming into a game, if it's not working, you have to be able to make adjustments.
Hmm.
And
And
no,
they kind of
no,
didn't.
no, no. And
Someone else pointed this.
no,
Oh,
go ahead.
go ahead, because I want to pick your brain
Well,
on
I was
something.
just
Another thing someone pointed out was conditioning.
yes, yes,
UCLA did not seem like
yes,
UConn was
yes.
running Kiki Rice through screens and all of their guards, and they were
Yep,
tired.
yep,
They were really tired. I don't know if you saw
yep.
that. I just wanted to
And
point it
and
out.
when you get to that point, this part of the season, it's like it's do or die. Conditioning should be the last thing you're worried about. Like, because you already
Mhm.
have so many things going through your head. Everybody does, but especially a team that's never been there. right? Like you're anxious, you're excited, you're nervous, just all the things. The last thing you should be worrying about is your conditioning. Am I in shape? You know what, Jordan? I was like, "Coach, I am prepared to play the entire game and overtime and overtime and overtime if I need to." Like a lot of
Mhm.
that is up here. It's mental. Like, no, I don't care. Yes, I was tired, but no, I wasn't tired. There was no way.
Right. You can't
There
get
was
tired.
no way I was gonna come out of the game. And if y'all are gonna be running, I will run right there with you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna beat you to the spot you're trying to get to. Yeah. No, no, no. I did. I noticed that. You know what? And at first I was thinking maybe it was just a couple of players, but it seemed like it was the entire team.
Yeah, it was an energy. It was oh my gosh, we have to do this another half. Like I am barely surviving and then I have to go and play offense. Like they didn't have anything left in the tank
Fact,
after they were working so hard on
fact.
defense. And then UConn was still slicing through them, backdoor cuts, getting wide open shot. That's how you know they're tired. AZ was wide open. How she was already at
Yeah.
15 points and she was still
Yeah.
wide open from 3 on the weak side. You're not rotating.
Mm,
So I think
mm, mm.
that UCLA is going to bring a lot of their team back next season. They had a solid year, but they're going to learn from this. And when they come back and be in this position again next year, they won't have that feeling of, oh, we've never been here before. We have to do well. That will hopefully subside and they can execute and come out a little stronger.
I agree with you, but I'm
I know
still
that.
going to say, and granted, maybe they have it. I don't know what players they have coming in. They still need a dog. I don't
They need one.
one bigger than that one.
They
They
need one.
do. Because you know what? Just say even this game. Just say if they had one for this game. Not saying that they would have won, but when you have a dog on your team, you just find a way to get things done. You're going to get stops. You know what? You're going to go to coach and be like, "Coach, listen. This ain't working. Give her to me. I got it." And then on the
Mhm.
offensive end, like you're just gonna make things happen. You're gonna bring that energy, you're gonna bring that trash talk. Like sometimes you gotta mix it up. Like you can't be all nice and playing and oh my gosh, they scored again. It's gotta be one of those things where it's like you're in a timeout, right? Coach, I got the timeout,
Mhm.
right? And you get in that huddle and it's a different type of a conversation. Like, do y'all not understand where we are and what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish because we're not playing that way. So I don't care who comes back. I know they need to go find that dog if they want a chance to
They
win a
need
championship.
they need to go search for one. I agree with that. And speaking of dogs, how about those Huskies?
I see
Because
what you did there.
they have a dog.
Mm,
They got 3
mm,
dogs. They got a 3-headed dog,
girl.
and that's what won them this
Whew.
championship. Paige Beckers, AZ Fudd, Sarah Strong. We talked about how great AZ played. You know, that's what got her the most outstanding player because she has just had a great tournament run.
As she
They
should have
they all
been.
have really as she
Hmm.
should. But we mentioned it before. Their win over South Carolina, 82-59. They came in as a number 2 seed, but my God, were they not playing like a number 2 seed? They looked like the clearest, best team in this tournament. They looked sharp. They looked disciplined. And it was
Confident.
all of those little things,
Hmm.
confidence,
Hmm.
all of those things that take you to a championship game. They're 12th as a program. They're first in almost 10 years, which is wild to say. Sheryl, I feel like
That is crazy.
it was always
That's
UConn.
crazy when you
And
think about that.
I want to give them I want to give the program and Gino their flowers because it made everybody else raise the standard because people were tired of getting beat by UConn. And that's why there was so much parity in the game. But then Gino was like, okay, hold my beer. I'm bringing in Sarah Strong and we're going to get even better than we were before. So this team was just incredible. I don't even know how to describe it. But what did you see that really separated them from the rest?
God, everything. Listen, so I was fortunate enough that I was able to sit courtside for this game. Okay.
Yes.
Just give me a moment. Cuz I need a moment, okay? I love Paige.
You can have all the
I
moments.
love Paige Beckers. Love Paige Beckers. Love her as a person, as a human, as a baller, as a hooper, all the things. She is her, right? She's her. She's a bucket. AZ Shaniqua Fudd. Cause she played like a Shaniqua yesterday.
She was Shaniqua Fudd yesterday. Uh-huh.
So I've watched her play, right? Here and there, and then with her being hurt, so she's been in and out. So I've watched her play and I'm like, oh, okay, she's nice, right? Like that. I didn't know AZ Fudd had it like that. Jordan, let me just explain to you what I saw.
Please
Every
do.
time the young lady touched the ball, I was like, oh, she is about to do something. Something. I don't know what that something is, but she's about to do it. She is a big guard. Like, she loves the contact. I love how she like uses her body to come off the screen. Like, you can't get there. But
Mm-hmm.
her stroke is so beautiful and pure and just yes. Yes.
Magnifique.
AZ Foot. I'm not gonna put Shaniqua in there. Let me just say to you right now in this very moment, young lady, I am a fan. And please forgive me for not knowing all the things about you and your game because, young lady, what you did yesterday and what you showed me and everybody else in that gym is just because Paige Beckers is graduating, don't think we can't come back and do this again.
That part.
It was so beautiful, like poetry in motion. And she looks like she's having fun while she's doing it. All of that. I loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. One more. Sarah Strong. Listen, I played against Allison Feaster. Allison Feaster, an incredible baller, competitor, great defender, could shoot the lights out from beyond the arc. I'm going to say this because there's been some great talent come out of UConn. Sarah Strong might be, when it's all said and done, she might be the best player to come out of UConn. Jordan,
Oh,
listen, I love Dirty
I'm
D.
here
I
for
love
it.
Dirty D. Love her, love her. Diana Taurasi, y'all, love her.
I mean, Soubert, Maya Moore,
I
Nafisa
know.
Collier, and Brianna Stewart.
Okay, I hear you, but just hear me out for 1 second. First of all, this kid's
I'm
a
listening.
freshman. She shouldn't be able to do some of the things that she's doing as a freshman. She shouldn't. And
I
she's
agree.
doing it just the game yesterday. She's doing it against some pretty good defenders. Right?
Like the
Yeah.
best. Like
Yeah.
some of the best in the country.
She can post you up. She already has some nice little moves. She has counter moves. She has counters to her counters. She can still score it at any moment on the block. She plays through contact. She can step out. She has a nice little jumper. And oh yeah, she could shoot the three. But not only shoot it, like she makes it. Like, this is what I do. Y'all forgot who my mama is? And can we go to the defensive end? And this is
Woo!
where I say she
Wow.
could possibly be, right? Because
I
Sarah
see it.
Strong plays both ends of the floor. And defensively, her presence in that paint, like, you better come and bring it when you go in the paint because she is there for it. But she also can
Mhm.
defend on the perimeter. Like, she's doing all of these things as a freshman, Jordan.
And doing them
Very
very
well. Very
well.
well.
Very
Very
well.
well and
24
very
points.
confident. I'm sorry.
Very confident. Very confident. 24 points in that championship game, a record for the most points scored by a freshman in the NCAA tournament. She also had 15
That part.
rebounds,
Yeah.
Cheryl. She's also in there
As a
getting
freshman.
boards,
Oh,
doing whatever you
and I'm
need.
sorry. Did I mention doing all these things as a freshman in the national championship game in front of 19,700 people? What pressure? Pressure. What?
Mm-mm-mm. Don't even know it. And she seems so
Oh
even
yeah.
killed
Oh yeah.
too. Like
Ugh.
nothing gets her too high, too low. She just seems so even. You mentioned AZ Fudge. She also had 24 points, including 11 in that third quarter. My favorite thing that has come out of this whole tournament, FUD around and find out.
I like that too. I was like, oh,
It's amazing.
okay.
Her
Yeah.
mom was even wearing it on a shirt. But that's you. You were like, I wasn't familiar with your game. You gonna FUD around and
Oh yeah,
find
I need
out.
that tee.
And that's
I need that t-shirt.
exactly,
Mhm.
woo!
Mhm. I need that
That's what
t-shirt.
South Carolina did. They found out you can't leave her open. She also, AZ showed off her handle a little bit. She had a
Facts.
couple people on
Facts,
skates,
Jordan.
was crossing people over. It was, even though, I will say this, even though the games were on the scoreboard blowouts, I will say it was fun to watch UConn stars be stars. This is the stage where superstars are
Yeah.
made. And Paige Beckers, probably didn't even have her greatest
No.
game in the
No, she
championship
didn't.
game, but she's had 30, 30 plus games in a row to get them here. But it was AZ's time to shine. It was Sarah Strong to put everybody on notice. And I agree with you, Cheryl. AZ's coming back.
Mhm.
Sarah is going to be there for 3
Mhm.
more
Mhm.
seasons. Like, this is only the beginning. And now everybody's watching. They want to go play for this UConn team to get back on board and get back on track of them being dominant. What I do want to ask you before we wrap up this section is about Paige. I mean, you said that Sarah Strong, when it's all said and done, could be the greatest Husky ever to come out of it. But where does Paige kind of rank in those all-time Huskies? Sue Bird and Diana on their alternate broadcast, they said their top 3 was Stewie, Maya, and DT. Would you put Paige right there at number 4? Or where do you think she ranks, especially now that she has a championship?
Mm. Mm. I mean, Stewie, Maya, Diana, it's hard to not have those 3 there, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at putting Paige there at number 4. But I
I think that's a good
yeah,
spot.
like, I'm sitting here
Great
trying to
company.
think of, like, the other players that have come through UConn because it's been, I mean, it's been some great ones, right?
So many, yeah.
So, I like that. I absolutely like that. Yeah,
I like that
and
too.
especially
What a
especially if Sue and
great
Diana are saying
company
it,
to be
like,
in.
you can't really argue with that much
Yeah.
because they played at the program. Yeah, I do like that.
They played at the program and they played at the
Yeah,
highest level. Okay,
yeah.
I like that. I'm so happy for Paige. I think her story is incredible and she deserves this championship. A great way to finish her career. It's had some highest of highs, but also the lowest of lows with her injuries, and she's bounced
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
And now she's at the top, and yeah, I'm just really, really
And
proud for them. Really happy for them.
this one hurt me to my heart. Because like you, I am ecstatic for Paige. She, to your point, she's been through so much, just health-wise, mentally, emotionally. So to see her be able to get a championship before she leaves, like, makes my heart smile. On the other side of that,
Mhm.
though, I'm like, oh, like, I really wanted Dawn to get her another one. Um, what
Yeah, I know.
and even though she didn't win, I think I'm more hurt, or not even hurt, but I guess to me it's more about the score, like it wasn't a good game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tough way to go
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. But listen, it happens. And sometimes, and that's why I love, so to me, because Dawn played the game, right? Like, she always knows what to say at the right time in the right moment. Because sometimes there's absolutely nothing at all you can say. UConn was better.
Mhm.
They were just better for 40 minutes. And they're clicking on all cylinders. Sometimes there's just nothing you can say. And Dawn said, our girls played as hard as they could. I don't think she said they played the best they could, because I I didn't think they played very
No,
well.
yeah.
But if we're talking
Yeah.
about freshmen with Sarah Strong, Joyce Edwards is another one of those players that's gonna give some people some problems for years to come. But I just,
Years to
yeah,
come.
I didn't, South Carolina looked like they looked towards the end of the season, right? Trying to, like,
Mhm.
figure out, where are we
Mhm.
gonna get buckets from? Who's gonna score? And I mean, Malaysia for Wiley just did not show up. And I thought she would be the X factor.
I agree.
Yeah.
She wasn't. I don't know what happened there, but and especially after how South Carolina played so well against Texas, I think I got
Mhm.
excited to be like, okay, they're
Mhm.
back. Like, this isn't the team that barely won those last 2 games. They're back,
Mhm.
but they were not. I love what you said there. Last thing I'll say on South Carolina is I saw this on the Sporting News. Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, and Sanaya Fagan, they were part of that 2021 class. The 3 of them, 2-time NCAA champions, 4-time Final Four appearances, a 21-2 record in NCAA tournament,
Wow.
and 144-7 in their record in the regular season, including that
Wow.
undefeated 2023-24 season.
Yeah.
So, as
Yeah.
much as we
Yeah.
can say this game sucked, they have had an incredible career at South Carolina, and I wanted to make sure
Uh-huh.
to give them those
100%.
flowers because, my God,
Mhm.
I love it. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do Hoop Roots, and then we're going to talk a little draft. Come on back. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show, and it's time for my favorite segment, Hoop Roots.
First time in WNBA history, someone has done.
In Hoop Roots, I dive deep into women's basketball lore and educate you on something that I learned so that you can learn too. Sheryl, let's go back
Okay.
in
Okay.
time for a time that I think you know very, very
Okay.
well. The 1993 National Championship in Atlanta,
Mm.
Georgia.
I know a little something about
You
it.
were
Yeah.
there, and not only were you there, but you led your team, Texas Tech Lady Raiders, to their first and only national championship. And the reason why I wanted this to be Hoop Roots is because I saw inside of the arena, if you've never been to the Final Four, they have all of the banners of teams and programs that have won championships in the past. And, you see a UConn banner and it's riddled with 11 other
Yeah.
championships in their years. But you see Texas Tech and you see the one championship that they have in 1993. And that was because of you,
Mm.
Sheryl. And so I wanted to talk about that just briefly because you guys defeated Ohio State 84-82. And that was Katie Smith's Ohio
Yeah.
State. who we know now is a legend and a WNBA champion, but she could not stop. 47 points, a tournament record at the time of 177 points throughout the whole run, Sheryl. What do you remember about that time? And specifically when you posted that picture while you were in the gym of the Texas Tech banner, still waving in 2025.
Girl, I don't mean this funny, but I remember that we won, right? Like, first, I remember that we won because, one, we weren't supposed to be there. It was like, what? Where is Lubbock, Texas? Where's Texas Tech? And who are these girls from West Texas? Because pretty much all of us were from West Texas. So that was the first thing. I was like, we actually won. Like, we beat these bigger schools. We played Vanderbilt, who had Heidi Gillingham at, what was Heidi, 6'7"? And we had no one close to that size. Yep. And then, so we won that one. And then it was Ohio State. And I was like, oh, okay, this is Katie Smith's team. Just like, I talked myself through like what that game was going to look like, what it was going to be like. And I didn't worry about who I was going to defend, Jordan, because I tell people this all the time because I personally haven't seen it. Like, we played a 2-3 zone the entire game, like the entire tournament, the entire season, pretty much. We weren't a man-to-man team. We were a 2-3 zone team.
Wow.
And it's because, like, we weren't the quickest, we weren't the fastest, the tallest, the most physical team, but we had a lot of role players, and everybody accepted that role. Not to say it doesn't happen today, but I just feel like it's a little different, right? If you're asking some of these players who actually think that they are bucket getters, if you're like, listen, I don't need you to take that shot. She got the hot hand. Just get her to rock. I don't know if that would be as smoothly as it was then. Because there were times where I was saying to my teammates, like, shoot the ball. Like, you're wide open, shoot it. And they're like, give her the ball. But I kid you not, it seemed like everything I shot or I threw up, however you want to put it, like, I just knew it was going in. I was like, yep, another one and another one. So
like, it was your day. It was your time.
It really was. And so the other day when I was in the arena, to your point, I'm looking around and I'm like, dang, you see all the UConns, you see Tennessee, and now you see South Carolina. And then in the middle of all of that, I see this one little red banner that says Texas Tech University 1993. And like, the feeling never gets old. I don't know. I'm just like, we actually have a banner hanging up here with all of these other great universities that have won multiple championships. And there we are. Just such an incredible feeling. Yeah. Yeah. Great memories. Oh my gosh.
Never gets old.
Great memories.
Seeing the photos of you during that game. The light was neon green for you, as it should be, as
neon.
always.
Not neon.
I always feel like, I mean, we talk about too just this championship run, but you will always be a national champion. Like, no one can ever take that away from you. And I think it's so symbolic of, you know, those banners are there every single year since that year. And that is that exact same thing if no one can take it away from you. And a little fun fact was that was the last time UConn was not in the Sweet 16 or later. Like, that was a time in basketball where it was, people were trying to figure it out and get in where they fit in before UConn's dominance coming later. Right. They won and, you know, in 95, that was the Rebecca Lobo 35-0 season. But before that, there was some chance, you know, you guys won in 1993. Then that was North Carolina, 94. And there was some, yep. People were able to sneak in there real quick. And then that was the UConn's run.
Jordan, but that year, though, 93, if I'm correct, I think we had all four teams there, like, we were all new. Like,
Yes.
no
Yep.
one knew who was gonna win, but I know no one was saying Texas Tech was gonna win. It was Iowa with the C. Vivian Stringer,
Yep.
Ohio State with
Yes.
the late great Nancy Darsh. So then you had Vanderbilt with the great Jim Foster. So we didn't know who was gonna win it that year.
But I also, the Ohio State, it was their first time, and they beat Dawn and Heidi Berg. Heidi Berg dropped 30
Oh, at
points at
Virginia.
Virginia, but Ohio State still beat them to get to their first Final Four. So it was this time where new teams, new
Wow.
schools could get in where they fit in. But Texas Tech reigned
Yeah,
supreme.
we did it. We did it. We said, we'll have
I
this one.
love
Thank you
that.
very much. Thank you
I
very
love that
much.
for you. Okay, we're going to take another break. And then when we come back, we are going to talk WNBA Draft, which is going to be here like tomorrow. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. And we are recording this on Monday, one day after the national championship game. And then 1 week from today, the WNBA Draft is going to be live on April 14th on ESPN at 3:30 Pacific and 7:30 p.m. Eastern in New York. I think fans are going to be able to go too, which is awesome. They did that last year. But Sheryl, no time to rest. We know that every year the transition is super quick. But this draft is an interesting one because I think if you would have asked both of us a couple months ago who we thought our top 5 draft picks would be, it would look a little different. And I think that's because Lauren Betts said she's coming back to college. AZ Fudd said she's coming back for another year. Olivia Miles said she's coming back and entering the portal. That's a whole nother thing. Flau'jae Johnson decided to take another year. So these are all players who were going to be in the mix of our mock drafts, but now we are going with players who are just eligible to go in and putting their bid in. Another thing that's interesting in this first round is Dallas has a number 1 overall pick. Washington Mystics have 3 picks in the first round. Connecticut Sun have 2 picks. So there are some teams that need it that are going to be able to load up a little bit in the draft. Just to run through it, and then I have one question for you. Draft with the Dallas Wings with the number 1 pick. Seattle Storm, Washington Mystics, 3rd and 4th. Then at 5, you have a Golden State Valkyries. Washington Mystics, again, at 6. Connecticut Sun, 7th and 8th. LA Sparks at 9th. Chicago Sky, 10th. Minnesota Lynx, 11th. And Dallas Wings, again, at the 12th pick. Now, Sheryl Swoopes, whose draft stock has risen? We know Paige is going to be the number 1 pick. They better be. Dallas, do what's right. Whose draft stock from watching the tournament, in your opinion, has risen to maybe this first round or even a higher pick?
God, Jordan, you make a very good point when you talk about the draft is just different now with those players not entering. But to me, there are 2 players that I look at and I'm like, okay, I do think their stock has risen since the tournament. But then I also think it depends on what the teams need. Haley Van Lith. I think she's one player that teams are looking at like, oh, okay, Haley, we could use you. You could come over and help us. I really like Sonia Citron. And I know they lost to TCU and all the things, but she's one of those players that I honestly could see moving up to the top 5. I don't know where she's going, but like I look at a Seattle Storm. To me, Seattle Storm, they could use a player like her, especially with Jordan Horston being out. I know they got Lexi Brown, but Lexi and Sonia to me are different players. Like Citron is,
Oh, yeah.
she's a bigger guard. She can post up smaller players. She can shoot the ball. So I definitely see her stock going up. Here's a player I have a question about because I'm not sure. I like her game.
Yeah.
Um, Georgia Amore.
Yeah.
I like her.
I
I like
have
her
her
game a
going.
lot.
I love Georgia Amore. I have her going right now in my mock draft 9th to the LA Sparks. Hear me out. We talked about how much they need a point guard. She's not going to come in and be the starting role, but as a backup point guard to Odyssey Sims or Kelsey Plum, I think that could work out great. And Lynn Roberts loves the three. Georgia Amore can shoot that thing. I feel like that could be a good fit. But I'm with you.
And here's
she's gonna make a team happy.
Because we could have this conversation for a while. Last player that I could see the Sparks taking, or to be very honest with you, I could see any player. The Mystics with 3 picks, they're going to get 3 really good players. Let's not sleep on Sanaya Rivers.
Yes.
I like that kid's game a lot. And I could even potentially see her going to the Sparks, but I don't know. I think with those 5 players you just mentioned, like shaking some things up, saying, nope, I ain't entering the draft. I think a lot of teams went back to the drawing board and they were like, okay, let's see, what does this look like now? Because this is who we were going to take. And now that she ain't coming out, we got to go back to the drawing board. So I think is it going to be as exciting as last year's draft? No, just from the hype, right?
Yeah, probably not.
From the hype.
Yeah, or next year's. And next year's draft's going to be insane.
There is still some really good talent that's coming out. I'm curious to see where Anissa Morrow goes.
Me too.
She's an undersized.
She's undersized, but
she plays so
double machine. And we know we've talked about it before when we've done this for the past few years. Effort will translate to the WNBA, and that is something we will never question with Anissa Morrow.
What if her
I
and
love
Angel
that.
ended
Sanaya
up
Rivers
together in Chicago?
Oh my gosh. Her, Angel, and Cardoso, just nobody even try to rebound. Just get back.
That would be real interesting.
Run the other way. Don't even try to rebound. One thing I want to throw out there, just to add a little spice, a rumor that I have been hearing and reading about. Seattle Storm have that number 2 pick, right? We talked about how they made this blockbuster trade to get the number 2 pick from the Sparks. But again, they were thinking this was Olivia Miles. They're like, yeah, we need Olivia Miles. This is going to help. Olivia Miles says she's not coming back. Rumor is they might trade that pick for a Marina Mabry, and the Connecticut Sun might get that number 2 pick. Would I advise that? No. But if they were like, we don't really want to take our chance with anybody, it's not Olivia Miles or nothing. We know what Marina Mabry can do. I don't know. Connecticut Sun fans, you better be praying that happens. Seattle Storm fans, you better be praying that doesn't happen. I do think, though, just broadly, there's going to be a big trade coming. Like, I think we're looking at this lineup right now on a Monday. I think before the draft, something's going to get mixed up. It happened last year.
I can see that.
With that's how Chicago got Angel. I can see something happening.
I can see that.
Something happening. One player I want to shout out, Dominique Malanga from France, is a bucket. I remember my dad sending me her viral video when she was 17, I think, and she just did a drop step dunk. She's 6'6", barely played on the French national team because they were so stacked. Yeah, she's only 19. But think about Seattle Storm. They got Ezzy Maglagor when she was only 19 from Australia. Look at her now. I would love for Seattle to keep that pick and draft Dominique. And I think that could be really exciting. So that's my little GM. I would say my GM hat, but I'm wearing a scarf today. So my GM scarf is on. That's what I would do. Thanks, Cheryl. You know these braids got to come out, so we're on our last days.
Yeah, I gotta look up this kid now. Dominique.
Oh,
what's her last name?
Malanga.
Okay. Thank you.
Watch her highlights. I'll send it to you. It's she can shoot. She can shoot from 3. She can shoot a mid range.
She's 6'6".
She's blocking shots.
Oof, she had 32 points the other day. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check this kid out. I like it.
Yes. Some good international talent coming in this draft too, which I think they can make adjustments or make an impact early. I think so. But Sheryl Swoopes, it is always a pleasure.
Right back at you.
This was a fun week of basketball, and we got more coming up. W season's almost here.
Right?
Woo!
Well,
no time, no rest for the wicked.
We're done with college. On to the W. Let's go.
On to the W. The Women's Hoop Show is an Odyssey original podcast hosted by me, Jordan Robinson. Today, our co-host was Sheryl Swoopes. Our producer is Phil Sweetek. Our video team is led by Kurt Courtney and includes Tim Meikle, Evan Cox, Allison Jeffrey, and Lauren Vieira. Our executive producers are Greg Holtzman, Pasha Saluja, Danny Freisinger, Maddie Sprunkheiser, and Leah Reese-Dennis. And special thanks to Moira Curran and Josephina Francis.